I'm a priest, a Norbertine father, 85 years old, and seldom in my abbey. For 51 years already, I've been traveling all over the world, wherever the church and the people are in need. Or else I've been looking for people who are willing to help me to alleviate this need.
He started to work in 47, and then he was occupying himself with the Germans who were exiled from Middle and Eastern Europe.
The Pope, that was Pius XII, asked me to undertake some action in Belgium for the exiled German priests. In 1946, 14 million Germans were exiled to completely Protestant regions of Germany. Among them were 3,000 priests and 6 million Catholics. So I went to Germany, and I was so shocked with what I saw that I couldn't keep it to myself. That is how the work started, as a reaction to the crisis in Christianity, which was the result of a war. I was invited to talk to the farmers' wives at their annual reunion. So I told them about the distress of these priests in Germany, until their eyes were filled with tears. Then I said, now it's time for the collection. I turned around and looked at the priest to ask if he agreed. He said yes. He wasn't able to say more, because tears were rolling over his 3 chins as well. But then I realized that these farmers' wives wouldn't have taken any money with them, as it was their annual reunion. So I said, I don't want any money from you, but you certainly have some bacon hanging in the chimney. So I want you all to cut off a big piece of bacon and bring it to the presbytery tonight. And in this first village, I collected 1,400 kilos of bacon. This is how the bacon campaign was born, and this is why they call me Bacon Priest.
He said, for instance, I need 150 cars for the rucksack priests. And everybody said, you are crazy, 150 cars? Do you know how much that costs? Who is going to organize all that? But he always succeeded.
Then I went back to Flanders and mobilized the students and the youth movements. And I told them, I want you to collect in 3 months' time the money to buy 100 Volkswagens. I was hoping I would get 60 of them. One always has to ask a bit more than what one wants to get. But within 3 months' time, the youth of Flanders had collected the money for 140 Volkswagens. And these were distributed to the rucksack priests.
I was afraid sometimes, because he kept on promising. Sometimes he balanced on the limits. I had sleepless nights because of this, but he didn't. I told him, if you had a household and ran it like this, you would be ruined already. But he thought this was God's will. One had the impression he wanted to save the whole world. It was his word, written or spoken, which made people open their wallets and give him all their money. Even more than they could give, in fact.
After Mass, I'd be standing at the back with my hat, with the famous multi-million hat. With this hat, I have been begging for 51 years already. It is a good hat. A bit damaged, there are some holes in it. So better no coins, but paper money, banknotes. He told me that once, while he was preaching in Switzerland, a rich lady came to him after Mass. She said, "Father, you touched me. What can I do for you?" Well, he said, "I took a collection." And she said, "I am an aged lady. I have a necklace here. It must be worth $80,000. I give it to you. You can sell it and use it for your apostolate." The money he collected was used for the reconstruction of churches, the building of seminaries, and so the work grew. Then they said, "This church in Eastern Europe is in need, and there's nobody else who can provide it with material help. But there are other needs in other parts of the world, for example in Zaire, in South America, and in Asia." So he made a large fund for the reconstruction of churches, the building of seminaries and churches. My abbot once said, "I'm glad I have Werenfried, but I'm also glad I have only one Werenfried." I wouldn't say this about myself, would I? Many years ago I had Marlene Dietrich singing, "Where have all the flowers gone?" I learned it by heart, and I can sing it, but I'm not a good singer. I proposed to my abbot to organize a tour with Marlene Dietrich. I would preach and she would sing, and I thought the collections would then be twice as big. But my abbot didn't agree. And so I thought to myself, he was probably worried about Werenfried's soul. But one of my confrères said, maybe he was worried about Marlene's soul. I'm no saint.
Sag mir, wo die Männer sind, wo sind sie geblieben? Sag mir, wo die Männer sind, was ist geschehen?
Sag mir, wo die Männer sind, zogen fort, der Krieg beginnt. Wann wird man je verstehen? Wann wird man je verstehen?